East and the West. You've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up? Man, I guess I think I probably played the outro, but it is what it is. I'm here. And so it is time for the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And none other than the Don of Cape Cod is with us today, Mr. Jeff Dawson. It's always a pleasure to have him here with us. But we got the Don in the house today, and man, let's go ahead and jump into it right away. And how's everything going with you, Mr. Dawson? How's life treating you over there in the beautiful Cape Cod area with all those good clams running around?
Well, I tell you what, I was getting my cardio in yesterday afternoon, and the waves were jumping severe heat and humidity, which kind of ruined my internet, ruined our show yesterday, ruined a couple shows during the week. The internet has been so spotty and no internet. But with the cardio and the undertow, they called it, it's just been, it's crazy. You go up to your knees, and next thing you know, potential drownings are happening. We were talking backstage Tuesday, August 1st, which means, a month till Labor Day and obviously the start of football. Baseball's been a grind. It's been brutal, to be 100% honest with you. Really, really backed off the card, literally trying to single one game out. I think this week we are 2-2. Looking at Friday's card as we speak, trying to find a few hidden gems, just trying to muscle through the dog days of summer, Pops. And Tuesday, turn the calendar to August.
Yes. And that's how it goes, man. People getting excited. We're getting close to football. People keep asking me when the fantasy draft is happening and all that good stuff. And, everybody's getting really excited about what's about to occur. Because it's football season. We had another great football season last season that ended in, with a great finish and things of that nature. So everybody's ready for it. And I know everybody is keen on being the best of the best and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, as our good friend Dave Sherapan always says, we all don't know shit. So it is what it is.
And I'm gonna double down on that, because I've preached this now. We've been public. This is our 8th full year, so we're 8.5 years in. And it's just comical, because you get to the Super Bowl, and then after the Super Bowl, you got the conference championships, you got March Madness, you got the first opening pitch in the start of April, and then you got the Masters, and then we got the 3 big horse races, NBA, NHL finals, and championships. And then you get to the All-Star break, and it's the true dog days of summer. And most people tap out there, Pops. They're like, hey, I need a 6-week break. Because why? Because I'm going to crush them in football. I can't wait. I own the books in football. And you and I and everyone else know they don't know shit. That's why those billion-dollar casinos are built every Sunday. So good luck in September and October, people, because it's not that easy.
Nah, it's not easy at all, man. And that just cracks me up. We'll have the football pools. Everybody, I'm telling you, grandmas, everybody knows. Everybody is a football expert. Just know that. It's just like, it's so funny. It's just like the racetrack. Everybody thinks that they're an expert up here. Everybody thinks they know what they're talking about. And then when you get to 17-1, why don't you give me that horse? You said you knew what you were talking about. You know what I mean? So,
before we went live, I was just watching on the big screen the 4-5 get caught at Saratoga by a 7 or 8-1. So even the chalk doesn't come in sometimes,
Shit, man, I'm gonna tell you like this. Some of these tracks, they're playing you. Yesterday, before we get into this next topic, Doug had a horse yesterday named Ceiling Crusher. The horse has never lost, ever. But the horse has only ran at Santa Anita. So guess what they do to the horse? They make the horse like a 1-5 off top, because it's in a stakes race, the Fleet Treat, and it looks like it's a no doubt about it. but the horse is on new surface. So odds makers are literally doing this on purpose because they're trying to act like they're giving you a square, but they know they ain't giving you no damn square. This is a stakes race. And literally what happens is that you pretty much just set up the top 2 finishers to have a pretty good exacta. That's all you did at the end of the day. And Prescott Downs all day long. As soon as the horse goes to 1 to 5, stay the hell away from it. They're not even going to let that horse finish in the top 3. They know you got to learn the game. See, you got to keep looking at that board. Everybody wants to keep looking at these damn numbers and all this other information and what somebody's writing. You have to look at the tote board like you do the stock market. So, you have to keep your eyes on the ball. All right, let's jump into this topic that I have up first. Colorado votes unanimously to leave the Pac-12 to return to the Big 12. Your thoughts, and is this the correct move by the Buffs?
I'm blindsided. I didn't know this was part of the move, so I'm kind of curious. Obviously, if this was part of Dion or this was part of Colorado's intention in bringing Dion here. I thought obviously by bringing Dion, it was a big ad for the Big 12. Obviously, we know USC, UCLA are heading to the Big 10, and then this happens. Listen, they're going back to the Big 12. Well, I wish they'd bring Nebraska back to the Big 12. And I'm hearing, rumors that UConn's going to get asked to go to the Big 12. And I'm not here to preach UConn as usual, Pops, but I'm going to just say this. If UConn, which we know is famous for Big East basketball, then leaves to come back to the Big East to jump to the Big 12, well, please. But that's for a whole nother story. I'm surprised. I didn't know anything about this. You're probably a little tighter to this. Is it a good move? I guess the Pac-12 is blowing up the way it sounds like. And so for that case, go to the Big 12. Colorado in football will be competitive with Dion. You don't have to play defense in the Big 12. Texas is leaving the Big 12. A couple other teams leaving the Big 12. So maybe they think that they could rule the roost a lot quicker in the Big 12 than the Pac-12. But I don't know what's going to happen to the Pac-12, Pops. It doesn't sound good. But that's why I'm asking you the question. I was shocked. I didn't know they were planning this.
Well, I'm going to just be real quick here because I talked about it a little bit in depthly yesterday because they were rumoring it, but I knew the rumor pretty much meant that it's about to happen because Colorado realized that there was no point of leaving home. The Big 8 is their home. They're an original member of the Big 12. And they got so tired of the favoritism that they have for Texas and Oklahoma. And when their rival, Nebraska, said, you know what, we're tired of this ish, we're leaving. We're out of here. Colorado told themselves there's no reason for us to be here. But we can't go to the Big 10 because that's a Midwest conference. We just can't do that. So let's do this. Let's move on over to the Pac-12 and get an advantage in football and basketball somewhat. We could go to this conference and become one of the better teams for this conference. It didn't work like that because they couldn't recruit the same way. When they recruited in the Big 8, in the Big 12, they had the Midwest section. And that meant they had the state of Texas, Oklahoma, all those places where you can really recruit your core players at. And then they would go to California and pick up on the guys that were kind of, rough around the edges a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's how they formulated their teams. But once you go to the Pac-12, the California kids aren't so quick to go there anymore, especially when you're not selling anything there anymore at all. And so pretty much Colorado did this in a business mentality, but they did it in a mentality that they weren't getting enough love in the Big 12. They felt like everybody, it was Oklahoma and Texas and the 10 little dwarves. And that's not right. And that wasn't true. And so now Colorado looks at it. This is a great basketball conference now. It's not even about moving there for football. It's about moving there for basketball because their basketball team seems to keep recruiting high-end players. But let's keep it real. The Pac-12 is kind of UCLA, Arizona friendly. The best players go there. But when you go to the Big 12, now you can sell the Big 12 conference, and now you're playing in one of the best conferences in the nation for the basketball side of things. And the football will fall in place. And they're doing this to give Deion a little bit more pressure because they know the Big 12 has a lot more coverage to it than the they have a lot more coverage to it than the Pac-12 in a sense. So, and then when they didn't get the TV deal done, that just pretty much killed everything for Colorado, man, at the end of the day. So that's what it is. That's what it's going to be.
I think of Colorado football back in the day. I don't see any Cordell Stewart. I think of basketball, Chauncey Billups. Listen, if you're good, it's almost one of these, hey, we'll take the hit in one sport to excel in another. Listen, Colorado, as you and I both know, got a long, long way to go to keep up with the Kansases of the world in basketball. But football, again, where defense is an option there, and Deion, for 2-3 years, health, hopefully health gets better, obviously, with his feet. But again, I how long is Deion going to be there for is the big question. You and I both know talks of FSU moving and, maybe going to the SEC or moving as well. So got ties back in Florida as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But I was unaware of this potential move. Wish them nothing but the best. But this is what's happening. Everyone's just jumping. There's just going to be, 3 super conferences and, 16, 18 teams in each, and let them battle it out, and we'll see what happens.
I heard that, man. And I think that at the end of the day, Colorado is putting themselves in a good position. This is good because now you can be in a conference that's wide open, and they're going to give the Big 12 a little bit more credibility because you have the Cincinnati rivalry with West Virginia now. You have Houston coming in finally, you know what I mean? And it just makes it the best basketball conference in the nation because you bring in some of the best basketball teams in here. UCF had a top 10 guy drafted this year. So it's just a lot of things working out in the right direction for the conference. And I think the biggest thing that ruined the Pac-12 before we move on is BYU refusing to join the Pac-12. Like, it's like the writing's on the wall for them. They should have joined this conference 15 years ago, but they just keep refusing to. They'll play every single team in the conference, but they won't join the conference. And then they do the double whammy and say, you know what, we would rather go to the Big 12, even though we use the Pac-12 as our schedule, since we're an independent football team. Even though we use the Pac-12 as majority of our schedule, we're going to go to the Big 12. Okay. All right. So there it is. And that pretty much ruins the Pac-12 because Utah could play up that rivalry with BYU. And they can't play it up. Because when UCLA and USC said they was leaving, it pretty much was saying that was pretty much the countdown to when are we going to end the Pac-12. That's just literally what it was, because the Pac-12 has literally lived off of both of those teams throughout its whole existence. Let's just keep it real, Jeff. Because when you think about the Pac-12, you think about UCLA and USC first, and everybody else comes into play after a while. So that's it, and that's that. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and jump into some NFL real quick. Let's talk about the NFC North first look. We have a pretty intriguing conference. I'm going to go team by team, though, with you, Jeff, and you can be just quick hitters with you real quick. Up first, let's talk about the Bears. What's your thoughts on them?
They go as far as Justin Fields goes. He's been cloned to be Jalen Hurts 2.0 of last year. Add DJ Moore. Montgomery goes over to Detroit, so Khalil Herbert will be there. They just re-signed, or extended Cole Kmet, Mooney off an injury. Their defense is putrid. Look for big things from Fields. Look them to be probably looking, if I'm looking at these four, I probably would guess today that they'll finish fourth in this division. How's that?
Sounds good to me, boss. So pretty much I see that we have a team in the Lions that look like they're ascending. What are your thoughts on them?
They're America's team. Dan Campbell, again, move up in the draft to get Jahmyr Gibbs, who will be a fantasy sensation this year. They have St. Brown. They got off of their dynamic duo of DeAndre Swift, now in Philly, and Jamal Williams, who is now, I think, in New Orleans, if I remember correctly. They add Montgomery. They add Gibbs. Williamson will be out for the first 6 weeks due to gambling. Again, offensively, with Goff behind the helm, they're the team to beat, supposedly, here. They're expecting some regression from Minnesota. They open up the first game of the year, obviously, at Kansas City, plus 6.5 for 7. I think today on your show, I will pick them as the winner of the North this year.
There it is. All right, man. Your thoughts on Green Bay?
I don't think they're going to be as bad as everyone thinks. Rodgers now on the Jets. I haven't seen, we're waiting to see some tape on Jordan Love. I haven't heard a lot about him. Young rookie wide receivers, Romeo Doubs, and the other rookie that is slipping my mind, Christian Watson. Backfield, good two backs with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Probably the best defense in this division. I don't think they'll be as bad as everyone thinks. I don't think they'll win the division. Looking outside, I'd probably have them finishing third in this division right now, Pops.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. And then last but not least, Minnesota. What are your thoughts on them?
A couple years ago, led the NFL in losses by 1 touchdown or less. Last year, flipped the script. Best wide receiver in the game with Justin Jefferson. Dalvin Cook meeting in New York this weekend as we speak. Rumor has it he's going to sign there, or he's leveraging because there's a contract waiting for him. I think he signs with the Jets. If not, he's coming back home to Minnesota. Kirk Cousins. They add your USC wide receiver, Jordan Addison. Good team. Defense starting to slip. I got them finishing second in this division, Bobs.
All right. Okay, so these are my thoughts. I would say Chicago's a team that's going to be 2 wins better this year. Let's keep it real. And I think that they'll be a 5 or 6 win team. And, I'll have my final verdict on them as I do more notes on what's going on in that situation. But Justin Fields is a guy that's going to be a high-end fantasy player going into next year. If he can stay healthy all season, he'll probably be one of the better guys to have on your team, 25, 30-point guy because he runs the ball. So Bears offense has improved, in my opinion. It's just that the defense hasn't caught up with the offense. So we'll have to see how it goes. But they're still building, but will the patience still be there? That's the biggest question with them. Detroit, I feel like Detroit might be the most overrated situation going in the NFL. I don't think anybody should be pumping them up as hard as they should. I think that you got to let them surprise you. You know what I mean? Because it's just like this Browns situation where everybody's getting excited because these teams have waited so long to be dominant teams and their fan bases, and all of us fans have been waiting for these teams to be better teams over the last 20 years. But it's just every time they get too much love, then this is when teams start shooting themselves in the foot. And I just don't want to see that happen to Detroit this year. But I believe in Detroit as much as you do because I feel Detroit, in all honesty, has the best quarterback in the division. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what people think about Jared Goff. He went to a Super Bowl. Sean McVay wasn't the one throwing the football out there. I went and saw him play live. Goff can play his ass off. They would cherish Goff in New England right now. They truly would. Belichick would love having a quarterback like that. And I think that he's a cerebral guy because he was able to get it right in Detroit and Detroit had no chance. That's what they kept saying. Goff, what can he do without McVay? He can do a lot of things without McVay. What can McVay do without him? That's the biggest question. Okay. And then you have Green Bay. Green Bay, once again, you know that they're going to be the perennial team to look at because they got street credibility. It's that simple. And their coach has been very successful against this division and has been very successful except for last year. So pretty much Green Bay is going to have that credibility, but they're in the middle of a rebuild for the first time in 25 some odd years. And that's what it is. That's what people have to understand. Their fans are going to have to be very patient this year. I think Jordan can be an effective quarterback, but it's going to be a process. That's the whole thing. I think that by the time you get to the second half of the season, he'll be good. But the first half of the season, he's going to go through the growing pains. It's really not hard to see. And then Minnesota, you probably are the team that does have the best look at winning the actual division, but we know that this team is not good at finishing teams. So that's where we kind of get into a situation where I don't know where they're going to go, because the thing is, Minnesota got lucky a lot last year. There was a lot of games where they could have lost the game, but they won the game. And I said, you know what? They might be turning the corner with doing that. But then when they got blasted the way that they did in the playoffs, I was like, yeah, this team is still a middling team at best. It's just that the division just was piss poor, and that's the only reason why they were able to be that good. So pretty much that's my assumption on that, but we'll have more about this in the coming weeks as we talk about it on NFL Bet Exchange. So
hey, can I don't know if you know this or not, but I was going to give you breaking news. I assume you might have saw it before you came on.
Yeah, I was going to save it for when we got to the Dodgers, but yeah, I know.
How do you guys? You guys are just famous for the 2-for-1 specials. I mean, you go after Max a couple years ago, and they throw in Trey Turner, and so what happens here is, you get Lance Lynn, and now we'll throw in Joe Kelly, and they'll come back again for another tour of duty. But you guys are famous for that. Hats off, congrats.
Well, yeah, that Lance Lynn was supposed to go to Tampa Bay. He winds up coming to us because of no clause count and all that good stuff. And then you wind up getting Kiki Hernandez back, and then you get Joe Kelly back. Those are good fan favorites and things like that, but do they still have something left? That's the biggest question. You know what I mean? Because there's a reason why the Dodgers moved off of them. And they pretty much brought these guys back for locker room. They didn't bring for dugout, keep guys loose, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Joe Kelly, funny guy. Kike, funny guy. They're really loved in the clubhouse, all that good stuff. But the funny thing about that clubhouse is they don't have the same guys that were around a few years ago in that clubhouse anymore. You know what I mean? That clubhouse is ran by Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts now. But they're fun-loving guys as well, too. But it's a different look. You know, you don't have Seager and Bellinger and Turner and all these guys that were a unit together. This is really a brand new start, but this is the right type of team to do it with. So the Dodgers making this deal was much needed because they need another starting pitcher and they need another reliever. So it all works out, and we know exactly how to go about it with Joe Kelly. He's not an everyday guy. So, and he's a specialty pitcher. You don't bring Joe Kelly in just to bring Joe Kelly in. You know what I mean? So, it works out. And you know what? We saved them. And then once again, Trace Thompson has to be the mark somewhat. He sent right back to Chicago, the place where the Dodgers got him from the first time. So, it's funny. At least you still got a job in the MLB. But Trace Thompson, we can always say he's a good 3-week player.
No, exactly. Lynn, and by the way, again, I didn't want to screw up your show, but Lynn will, he's been getting a lot of strikeouts. Again, you need someone to, to eat up some innings. You don't want to tear up that back end, game in, game out. So again, Joe Kelly's been there before, knows the situation in the dugout in LA. And again, he throws hard enough. Again, that's the key to success in the MLB right now is throw hard and harder. And as long as you got control and command, you'll be okay. And good move for you guys as usual. So,
well, what are you thinking about the Red Sox? What moves should they be making right now? Because they just sent Kike, but Did they know that was Syndergaard who got sent to the Guardians? My bad for Rosario. I
Yeah.
don't know what we sent to y'all. What
No,
did they?
no, we traded Kike for a bag of donuts. We got a couple minor leaguers. The next guy is Adam Duvall. I guess has some interest. So we're trying to move some veteran pieces to get some more youth to stock up. They say they're going to make some moves. All the Red Sox moves are guys coming back from injury. Whitlock will be back soon. There's another pitcher that will be back soon. Trevor Story in 10 days. Chris Sale coming back in about 10 days. So all the Red Sox moves are internal. Don't expect them to make a major big move like that or splash. If they do trade, I think they will trade Adam Duvall moving forward. But that's it from them. Maybe a small, thrift store pickup to add some depth to stuff, but they're not going to make any major moves. And they're playing great ball. They just had a 2-game sweep of the Braves, and Strider pitched the second game against Bello, and we go to out your way. We're going to San Fran tonight, which they're big dogs as well. So it will be interesting, Pops.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm looking at this picture right here, and I'm like, why would the Brewers be trading anybody right now? They're chasing a pennant right now. You know what I mean? Okay, so this guy to Arizona. This looks so stupid to me right now. Goldschmidt to the Phillies. The Phillies don't need any more money on that payroll. You know what I mean? Because they're already underachieving with the payroll that they got now. This guy going to Cincinnati they're chasing a playoff spot as well too. Why would they give up a key player? Like, this makes no sense. Bellinger to the Rangers. That makes a little bit of sense. I told everybody, too. I said Bellinger was just an asset for the Cubs to move later on in the season if they struggled.
The hot rumors I'm hearing, Bellinger might sneak over to the Yankees. I just saw Verlander potentially to the Rangers. The Astros are also interested. And for you, the hot one was Arenado, and the 2-for-1 special again was Arenado and Flaherty, or Arenado and Montgomery. Montgomery pitches tonight, so keep your eyes on Nolan Arenado for you.
Yeah, I've been hearing about Ariando, but it's going to be tough to get him because you got to give up a lot to get him. And Tim Anderson was always a pipe dream, I think, because they showing Tim Anderson to the Dodgers. If Tim Anderson would have been gone, he would have been in that deal that they just got done with the White Sox, and they would have had to throw in some. They would have had to throw in some more than just what they just threw in. The Dodgers kind of just gave them some guys that were available on the list. It was probably just like that Billy Bean trade where it was like this guy and that guy. I like so-and-so, though. You don't know so-and-so. That was so funny. You don't know Diaz. What are you talking about? You've never even seen him before. I like that guy. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, Jeff, I know you know me. I'm always into the boxing world and all that good stuff. I don't know if you're very well versed in what's going on. I just know that everybody, for some odd reason, over the last 3 days, has became a boxing expert again. Even though nobody talks about, but they box every weekend. They have championship fights every weekend, but they don't get mentioned. But this one's getting mentioned. So, what are your thoughts about this one, real quick? And do you have a side?
Pops, I am not as well versed as you and a lot of your followers and experts that follow you in boxing. I do enjoy a great boxing match. If you wanted to talk, Duran and Leonard or Holyfield or Tyson, I could go way back, Hagler and Afirmo or whatever. From a pure value point, I was looking at the odds at Circa. I would take the swing on Spence plus the 130, and my hedge, which is a big juice, unfortunately, would be the over 10.5. And I expect it to go to the cards. I don't expect a knockout here. So I'd grab the plus 130 on Spence, and my saver is that it goes over 10.5 rounds, Pops.
Good. Smart. Well, I like that right there. I like that I like that type of setup that you got right there. I think that's the best way to go because you betting a dog who's actually the champion, you know what I mean? The unified champ. And so you pretty much do have a lot in your favor. And as I explained to people yesterday, I said that the main reason why Bud Crawford is the favorite is because he's 17-0 in world title fights. And what that means is that the odds makers he has more credibility with the odds makers. It's the only reason why they have him as the favorite. It's that simple. And you got 17-0 on that world title list. You haven't not been in a world title fight in the last 6 years. So that's what they're putting in. But they set the odds up to be very favorable to where the house won't get whooped if Spence wins. So in reality, you have more money going on the dog than you actually do on the favorite. Let's keep it real. We know how the odds makers set up fights like this because, like I told people the other day, if I was booking this bet and booking this fight, it'd be 115 to Crawford because the credibility of being a world champion for longer, and the 105 for Spence because Spence is pretty much the guy, but I can't make him plus money here because he's not a plus money guy. You know what I mean? This is an even fight. This is 50-50. This is how we can really tell it's 50-50. But if you lay it at the 115, everybody's going to take Crawford because they've never seen Crawford with that number. That's the thing. So what you're going to do is you trust the plus money because you're walking in with the unified champ. You're not walking in with the guy who has the street credibility. You're walking in with the next best thing. So this is what makes betting this fight a really intriguing way to bet the fight. Now, I'm going a little different. I feel like this fight's going to go under. I feel like it's going to be a stoppage here. And I know this is probably going to lose me some followers, lose me some friends. But at the end of the day, I do see this as a 50-50 fight. But I feel that Terrence Crawford does exactly what the great ones are supposed to do. As Customato said, the great ones figure it out as they go. They don't need all this extra talking, all this extra training, because when the fight starts, the fight starts. It don't matter what the trainer done told you. It don't matter what you practiced on. If you know how to ad-lib in that ring, it's gonna help you survive. That's exactly how Hanoi won the other day, by ad-libbing. You know what I mean? So pretty much sometimes you got to break away from that plan that you guys put together. If you know how to fight, you're going to fight. And that's exactly what Terrence Crawford is a fighter. And I know that his trainer is not somebody that needs the credit to say that he's a great fighter. With Errol Spence, I feel like they're too heavy on how their game plan's put together and how they train to the point to where it's almost like, is the trainer controlling him with the remote control? I don't think so. He's not a robot. Let's not talk about him like he's a robot. He's an exceptional fighter who knows how to do it on his own as well too. But I feel like they're kind of babysitting that a little bit too much. You feel what I'm saying, Jeff? And sure. It's no offense because I love Derek. He's a great trainer. You know what I mean? I have a actual relationship knowing him and things like that. I don't know Bomac that well, Terrence Crawford side, but I know Terrence, and I know that these are good guys. They deserve everything that they're getting right now. But if I have to tilt towards the side, I'm just a little bit more comfortable with Crawford because I feel like Crawford knows exactly what he has to do out there. I feel like Errol Spence has a programmed mentality on how this fight is supposed to go, but it ain't gonna go the way that you want it to go. It's gonna go the way that the fight, the way that the feel of the fight is going. You know what I mean? But I expect a straight up firefight, a straight up just, all out, because I know everybody thinks it's going to be a master boxing clinic on both sides. Nah, these guys are going to fight. They are going to fight. And I feel like it got that I don't want to keep comparing it to Hearns and Hagler and all these other great fights. I feel like they're going to make their own chapter tomorrow night. And I think that's respecting both of them as their talent levels. You can't be Tommy Hearns. You can't be Sugar Ray Leonard. You can't be Marvelous Marvin Hagler. You can't beat Iran. Those guys are they in their own league, they in their own class. Let these fellas have their moment. It's not about what happened 40 years ago. It's about what's happening tomorrow night. And that's what I'm looking at. And I'm respecting both of these fighters for what they're doing. I don't care about what fight that you want to compare it to. That's what's wrong with boxing. Y'all got to stop comparing everything to what happened 50 years ago. Just like with horse racing. Stop comparing every horse to Secretariat. It's just stop. You know what I mean? Just enjoy what's in front of you now. It's that simple. We don't have long here on this earth. So just enjoy what you have now. Stop thinking about 50 years ago. It's over. It's done with. Let it go.
I agree.
All right. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into some baseball because I still do have Jeff for a few minutes. So we got some more baseball to talk about. We got games to talk about. So, it's time to talk some betting real quick. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, with the Don of Cape Cod, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we will be right back to you.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the Premier Sports Betting Show with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Mr. Jeff Dawson. This is the Primetime Angles. So let's talk about it. Dodgers. I was just talking about them, but we can talk about them some more. Dodgers started 3-game series versus the Reds. Both teams are in a critical spot as they chase their division pennants. Now, what are your thoughts on the Reds right now? Do you think the Reds pretty much showed their true hand that you're a good team, you're a good little team here, but you're kind of ahead of schedule? And I think the Brewers kind of had to remind them of that when they took 7 out of 9 this month against them. And I just really think that they kind of jinxed the Reds in a sense to where everybody wanted to run to the Reds. Like they were too excited about the Reds. You know what I mean? And they don't understand that the Reds they're building something here. And by the time it's done building, they'll be one of the more dominant teams in the league. They're taking the Astros approach, but don't rush them. You don't have to rush anything. You're fine. And I saw when Hunter Green went out, it was going to be a big problem for them moving forward. Hunter Green is the ace of the staff. And he was able to kind of set the example for the other young pitchers that they do have. And they pitched great too, because guys want to, they compete. Guys want to outdo each other. And that's what I was seeing a lot with the young Reds pitchers. But they don't have enough veteran work on that team. Joey Votto is a good little, Joey Votto is a good janitor. But, at the end of the day, Joey Votto should be on the trade block to get yourself some more assets. But when I look at the situation going into this weekend's game, this is a bigger series for the Reds than it is for the Dodgers. What are your thoughts?
The new shiny toy, as you said, they're building something where the big red machine is on its way back. I mean, I remember the big red machine I'll date myself, 75 Red Sox Reds in the World Series, 7-game historic World Series. But back in those days, the George Fosters, the Johnny Benches of the world, they were dominant. And this Reds team, you know what it reminds me of? Back in my racing track days as a dog guy, where they put a dog in a 3/8 race, and he hits the lid and he's got this big lead, and then he just gets swallowed up. So they're just priming him for the 5/16 races. Or in your world, they put him at the 1.25 miles, and he gets out by 6-8 lengths, and then he gets swallowed up because he's a 6 or an 8 furlong horse. And so they showed the flash. They brought the Dela Cruzes up of the world, the McLeans of the world at second base. As you talked about, Hunter Green, Lodolos. This team is going to be here for a long, long time. They got 4 more kids in waiting. So you talk about trade prospects, Votto, India, and a couple of others. Don't rush this. Don't trade off your chips for a potential to get into the play-in game. Sit pat. I said this the other day on the show. The must-watch TV, if you could set it up, would be Baltimore versus Cincinnati, 7-game series. First 1 to 4, you're the champs. That's what's coming in the next couple of years. Both teams sit pat. Dodgers, do your thing. Cincinnati, it was a great show. Take 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, but this is not your year. Next year and the year after are your up-and-coming years.
All right. Well, man. So pretty much we have a very, very, very good situation here with the Dodgers getting all these players and things like that. I know it's something that's going to probably be where they are going to, be, very in tune with what's going on. But I just feel like the Reds just might come in here and do exactly what they did, a few weeks back, kind of surprise the Dodgers a little bit and be a real tough team. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm kind of looking at in a sense, because they know that really this weekend is going to be the end all, is really a determining factor on what they can do moving forward. If they get swept this weekend, it's ugly for them. But luckily for them is the Brewers are playing the Braves, and the Brewers have a lot of issues with the Braves at the end of the day. So that's something that helps them out in a sense. But as I keep thinking to myself, and I know that Mitch and Paulie talked about it this morning on Follow the Money, but they were like, I don't know why the Cubs are moving their guys and the Angels aren't moving their guys. And the Cubs pretty much told us a few weeks ago they don't care about making the playoffs. You know what I mean? They know that this team, if they were going to strike, they were going to strike early, and they didn't. They had a winnable division, and they know that, and they never got it together to win the division. And so they've told themselves that, you know what, we know that it's going to be a race between the Reds and the Brewers, and we're just going to be here. But I wouldn't do that, because I feel like the Cubs are a winning streak away from taking the lead in the division. I've said this for many weeks, that the Cubs have pretty much probably the best roster in the division when it comes to veterans and guys who know what they're doing out there. And literally, if you give up on this thing right now, you never had any plans of doing anything great this season, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So giving up Bellinger and giving up these guys, you better be getting some real farm hands for this stuff. You know what I mean? You better be getting guys that are going to change the outcome of your future. Because if you're not, you're just really pretty much going to piss your fans off. And it's easy to piss off Chicago fans.
Yes,
you know how easy it is to do that. So pretty much we just have ourselves a very, very, very fun situation this weekend. And I think that we have a lot of really good plays going on when it comes to this trade deadline and when it comes to the excitement in baseball right now as well, too. There's just, it's so exciting. Every day you think about different scenarios in different ways. And that's where we're at right now, because everything's coming down to the stretch drive. And, you know, when you look at teams that didn't do well early on in the season, now they're stepping it up, doing well. You knew that was coming. And then you got teams that were world beaters. They were the 1927 Yankees reborn. Now they're looking like the 2002 Devil Rays. So, you know, your season can change in weeks. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You can be the highest of highs and then the lowest of lows. That's baseball for you at the end of the day. So, you know, that's where we're at. So pretty much that's how we're feeling. But all in all, who wins the series this weekend, Jeff? If you have to put your money on it, does that plus 270 look too sexy for you, or do you feel like that 250 minus 250 to the Dodgers is it?
Well, I look at the overnight number just in this first game alone, and the Dodgers overnight were minus 235. A little money trickling in on Cincinnati. You know, edge Dodgers, home cooking Friday night. I think they find a way to win today, and then you're just looking for a split. So I think if a gun to head, I would definitely think the Dodgers, you know, 2-1, 3-0 sweep here.
All right. Just over here trying to figure out haircuts and stuff. Looks like I won't be able to do it, but it's all good, you know. So pretty much, let's talk about Friday night, man. We got some good games here coming up for Friday night. What do you see as the best matchup this weekend?
I was actually trying to go through the card. I mean, again, the Red Sox at Giants intrigues the crap out of me. I mean, overnight Giants were minus 155. Cutter Crawford has been pitching better of late. The Giants are one of those teams that, you know, Sox have always done well in the versus the National League. Logan Webb, yeah, it is what it is, but money trickling in on my Red Sox. So I think that's a great series. The initial game that really catches my eye tonight is Seattle and Arizona. I like Gilbert. I like Gilbert in the first five there against Henry in Arizona. What I did learn this week, and taking this the rest of the year, is don't bet on bad teams. Yesterday was a perfect example. We were on the Cardinals last night. Everyone was on the Cubs, and 2 outs bottom of the first, and Ian Happ swings and hits Contreras right in the head, and he gets up like he got hit by Tyson, leaves the game, and then Mikolas takes it in his own hands, throws a pitch at Happ and misses him, and then next pitch hits him, and next thing you know, it's 3-0. Cubs, Mikolas is thrown out. Thanks for playing. So I'm going to really try to hone in on the teams playing for something versus grabbing value and sizzle versus teams not playing for something. So again, Red Sox, San Fran, both teams playing for something. Seattle, Arizona, both teams playing for something. Looking to really dive into those type of series pops.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's talk about this one first. Let's talk about the Angels and the Blue Jays. Angels, Blue Jays, you got the new ace on the mound for the Angels in Lucas Giolito. And then you have Kevin Gausman. Don't worry, I'll let you go after this, man. I know you look.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at my sheets, that's all.
Okay, I thought you was looking at the clock. Like, hurry this up, man.
No, I'm looking at my sheets.
All right, but Angels, Blue Jays, it's a good pitching matchup tonight. That's why I'm putting this one up here. And this is supposed to be the new look Angels and all that good stuff. And pretty much, you know, this is something that I'm very intrigued with, because I feel like tonight the Angels will start a nice run, because that right there should charge up your dugout when the owner pulls the DiCaprio for you and they say he's leaving and he says, you know what, I'm not leaving. And that was Shotani. Like, oh, he's out of here. Oh, he's done. Oh, he's a Yankee. Oh, he's going to be on the Rays. Oh, he's going to be here. Oh, he's going to be there. And Artie Moreno said, not so fast. We going to get this thing right. We going to have us a miracle finish. I'm not trading nobody. I'm going to trade for people now. And he did. And he went and got Lucas Giolito. And the Dodgers kind of feel dumb right now because that's who the Dodgers targeted. And they got to settle for Lance Lynn. And Lance Lynn, come on, dude. We all know Lance Lynn's been struggling this year. So the Angels, literally, I think they just wanted to say that they got the guy that the Dodgers wanted. If they don't wind up making the playoffs, they could just be like, well, we double whammied the Dodgers again. We took something from the Dodgers again. You know, that's the only victories they've been getting lately. But when I look at this one, Jeff, this one tonight is going to be my dog of the day. I really do like the Angels to come into Toronto tonight, shake some things up a little bit, and win at that plus 155. What are your thoughts on this?
White Sox wholesale changes as we speak. Kendall Graveman goes back to the Astros, so a lot of trades moving. The overnight number was Jays minus 205 with an 8.5. Could have grabbed the Angels last night plus 172. Trickling Angel money coming in as we speak at the Circa. 187 Toronto now minus. You can grab the Angels plus 169 and under over of 8.5 juiced under minus 15 cents. Looking at a couple team totals over here. You can get the Angels team total over 3.5 or the Jays team total over 4.5. Gosman kind of fading down the stretch a little as we see. Can you I like the thought process. What really sticks out, I'm looking at it right now. Angels 54-49. The Jays only 57-46. Big series here. If the Angels can take 2 out of 3, then they're only a game behind the Jays. The value, obviously, on the Angels. Will Jeets be ready? I like where your eyes are, Pops. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. First 1 to 5 wins, Pops.
I like it. I love it, man. And here goes another one. That's a good one tonight, and that's going to be the Rays and the Astros. And looks like the Astros are catching their groove right now, and the Rays are just kind of just going with the motions. And I keep reminding everybody, I said, this team is only 49-43 since they went 13-0. And that literally is, to me, like a losing record somewhat, even though you're still 49-43, you still haven't done much. You know what I mean? You didn't do much after you went 13-0. The MLB is caught up with you. July was an awful month for the Rays. They looked like one of the worst teams in baseball all month long. So where do they go from here? That's the biggest question. And then you got the Astros. This team is just ascending back to where they feel right at, And I truly do feel that this is going to wind up being a really telling series this weekend. This could start the shift that I keep talking to people about, to where, say if somebody like the Blue Jays have a big weekend, then they can start really eating into that lead that's up top, because I keep trying to get people to understand that the Orioles will probably have a bad August or a bad September. A bad month is coming. They haven't had a bad month all season. I'm not trying to wish a bad month on the Orioles, but we know that their team has a 6, 7, 8 game losing streak in them. They do. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? So the Rays have to really step on the gas this weekend, because they're starting to run out of time. And they're starting to look like your Red Sox from years ago when they blew that lead in September, where everybody was, they're good. They're good. They're good. And then next thing you know, the Rays came all the way back and were in the playoffs, and the Red Sox weren't. So they have to put it together this weekend, in my opinion. I know it's like, don't panic. Nah, you need to start panicking, because the thing is, you lost the mojo that you had. Now it's like, okay, we want to trade for some players, but it's pointless to trade for some players because now we got to give up these very coveted pieces from the farm. And that's $1 million. That's millions of dollars to the Rays. You know that, right? Where with their assets, they treasure the farm. They look at all those guys as future all-stars. So it's just a lot that you have to put into play. And I truly do feel that this is a weekend where the Astros are going to separate themselves from the Rays and everybody else and pretty much solidify themselves back as the kingpin of the AL for the rest of the year. Because I'm telling you now, Rangers, they are on your tail. They're coming. They're going to be there. It doesn't matter what you did all year. They're going to be there, and they're going to probably beat you. It's that simple. And then you got the Angels who got their confidence up as well, too. So it's only a matter of time. But in this game tonight, I do like the Astros to win.
You know, the Rays have been our kryptonite. You know, they start out the year. I tried to compare them to the 84 Tigers, who started 35-5, played 500 ball the rest of the year, go out and win the World Series. The Rays thought they had a big enough lead. And I think our last 3 times we played the Rays, we went against Jordan Lyle in Kansas City. His only win in his last 18 starts for Kansas City. So that was one. And we had the Rays a couple other times, kryptonite. And now as I look upon this, a 4-game difference between these two, and look at the series that are on tap this weekend, Pops, where you got the Yankees at Baltimore. Again, so 2 teams, as you talked about, the Astros could knock the Rays back a couple more games. And now do the Orioles extend against the Yankees, or Yankees got cold tonight? Do they make a statement? And then we really have the AL East really start to shrink. So I like where your eyes are, especially with McClanahan on the mound. This is a steal for all Ray backers. Where can you get McClanahan at this price? I don't trust the Rays. If you Venmoed me $100 to bet on the Rays tonight, I'd Venmo you $200 back and say, hey, go out to dinner, enjoy. Go to the racetrack, because I don't trust this Rays team as far as I can follow them and throw them, Pops, at this point.
All right. Well, that sounds good to me, man. It sounds like it's going to be a great game that it's going to go down. And I can't wait. It's going to be a great series as well, too. So let's go ahead and jump into your Red Sox and the Giants tonight, because you brought up a good one. And I said, damn, Jeff brought up the one that I'm going to bring up last, but this is a good game tonight. You got Cutter Crawford on the mound going against Logan Webb. This should be a really, really good matchup. And you got a Red Sox team that believes. They believe right now, and I like it. I like it a lot. You know what I mean? And that's what I really like. The fact that the AL East said, you know what? We don't care that this team started off 13-0. We're still the AL East, and they're still the Tampa Bay Rays. Okay, let's not forget who they truly are. You know what I mean? You're the new kid on the block. You're not a rival to any of us. You're just a team that plays in South Florida. And yeah, you did. Yeah, that's cute. You did real good to start. You know, you hit the quarter pole in 21 and change. Great for you. You know what I mean? But we got to run. But you got to understand, we're in a 1.5 mile race. You hit the quarter at 21 and change, you ain't nothing but a 75-1. You know what I mean? You just over there just running to run, you know? And Boston, like I keep saying, Boston has the type of manager that understands this is a marathon, not a sprint. And the Red Sox have set themselves up for one huge run over the next 2 months. It's that simple. You just tell yourself, we stay 5-6 games above 500. For the next 2 months, we should be in the playoffs, and we should possibly win our division because we have what it takes. Now, the Giants, on the other hand, they have the best motivation of all, the Dodgers, because they know they want to ruin the Dodgers, ruin whatever the Dodgers want to do. It doesn't matter. And pretty much they worked themselves into a great position because nobody believed in the Giants at the beginning of the year. Everybody was San Diego this, San Diego that, San Diego this, San Diego that. San Diego's going to win 200 games. San Diego ain't going to lose a game. Blah, 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 blah. And where we at right now, they 10 games behind the Dodgers. Over there, and I saw it earlier. They're over here putting together trade packages for prospects. I said, it's really funny with San Diego fans. I thought you guys didn't need prospects anymore. You know, because, dude, you gave damn near all of them to Washington. So, you know, Now you guys are starting to scratch your head and be, well, the prospects would be nice now, so when I look at this one tonight, this is another one where I'm going to take the dog. I just feel like Boston is playing such great baseball right now, and they just love the West Coast as well, too. They love the West Coast playing in these National League games against these teams, and I feel like they will be able to go ahead and win this game tonight. So what are your thoughts on this one, Jeff?
An overnight number of 155 with a 7.5 over. Could have grabbed the Sox plus 135. Currently at circa, money coming in on the Red Sox. San Fran minus 134, Red Sox plus 123, a 7.5 over. Again, Crawford has been pitching better of late. Logan Webb hit or miss. This is going to be a great series. I think it will come down to Sunday to who wins this series. I'm going to see if I have a look ahead. 1 second, Pops. Probably not, of course, right? No, they don't know who's pitching tomorrow. The value, listen, I trust the opening numbers. So, again, this one's leaking to the right. Money coming in the Red Sox. I love where your eyes are speaking. Everyone's going to be jumping on the Red Sox here. An east to west travel last night after sweeping the Atlanta Braves. First 1 to 4 wins here, Pops. 4-3. How's that?
First 1 to 4 wins. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, let's can we jump into talking tickets before I get and we're done, or you got to go?
I technically have to go.
All right.
Unfortunately, because I didn't even know we're an hour deep and it's after 4. I'm supposed to jump on over to another show. But I'll let you finish with talking tickets. I'm going to circle back with you this weekend. We might try to hit up a show earlier in the week. I talked to you about my plans maybe for the fall with us, and I think it'll be a great segue for the NFL Bet Exchange and then what we do at the end of the week. But as always, Pops, thank you.
Man, well, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break so I can go ahead and give myself a break real quick, and we'll go ahead and bid our brother adieu. But I thank him so much, as usual, stepping on to the show. You guys know where to catch Jeff at East Coast Sports Investors. You guys want to sign up, go to www.ecs.com. He will take care of you guys. He will get you right. He will have you in the winner's circle, and being a smart bettor and not just somebody out there just throwing money to the books. You know what I mean? So thank you so much, sir. With that, we're going to take another quick commercial break. And when I get back, it's time for Talking Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTimeAngles.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back with the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTimeAngles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And it's time for Talking Tickets. And pretty much with Talking Tickets, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Up first, we have ourselves our series for this week. We got WNBA. WNBA, we got the pick 3, 6-1. I had the plus 13.5 to the Lynx. Also, I have the under 161.5 to the Storm in the Sky. And then we have the plus 9 to the Mystics, and this is going to be a 6-1 bet. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move from there. All right, we got ourselves the MLB Series Bets for this weekend. We have the Series Bets where I'm going to go ahead and take the Marlins with the -165 to up in the Tigers at home. You got the Yanks and the Orioles. I think that the Yankees start their run to try to go ahead and steal the East. Then you have the Pirates and the Phillies. I feel like the Pirates get themselves an upset this weekend in their series. I'm taking them with the +175. And I feel like this is going to be the start for the Angels to start their run towards getting into the playoffs. So then they can have a pretty exciting moment here with Ohtani and all that good stuff. So I do like the Angels with the +210, and we're going to go ahead and take that. And then we have the Astros with the -125. This should be also another really strong bet. They're going to be at home against the Rays. I feel like this is going to be a good weekend for them as they ascend back to the top of the AL West slowly but surely. And then we end up with the Diamondbacks at +120. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we move from there. All right, with our primetime pick 6, it is 67-1 tonight. I'm taking the Yankees with the -1.5 as well, too, with the +135. And then also I'm taking the Angels with the money line tonight as our dog of the day, and they are going to be +155. So this is going to be something that's pretty good for us moving forward. Also, we have the under 8.5 with the Nats and the Mets, and this should be a lot of fun as well too. This should be a very, 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 very good situation for us moving forward. And then we have the over 10 with the Brewers and the Braves. I feel like we're going to have ourselves some scoring going on in that game today, and it should be a good spot. And then we also have the Astros -105 to win straight up in their game. And then, you know what? I'm doing a little gambling tonight. I know I'm overspending on the A's with the -170, but I just feel like maybe they might lose by one tonight. I feel like it's going to be a close game, so I'm going to take them with the +1.5 on the run line, and that's going to be our pick 6 for today. All right, we go ahead and we're going to finish this up with the under 9 when it comes to the Mariners and the Diamondbacks. This is going to be under 9 Mariners Diamondbacks, and then we have the +1.5 for the Rangers -150 tonight. Also the over 9.5 with the Reds and the Dodgers, and then we have the Red Sox money line +120. That's going to be a 12-1 ticket. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving, and this is the premier sports betting show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper. And I'll be right back at you on Monday at noon. So you guys make sure to tune in for that. I think probably 11 o'clock, but I will be back for you guys on Monday with a whole bunch to talk about. So as with that, you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay cool as well, too, because it's going to be really hot as well. So you guys are the best. And with that, I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.